This is, once again, a CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. All right, guys. Again, I'm Nick Qualia, sitting here with Mike Molyneux and Marv Izan. So, we've talked a little bit now about Patriots targets, offensive targets, and just we've gone over the past couple of weeks on game reaction. So, with that, we've talked about a lack thereof or a plentiful amount of talent on the team. So trade deadline is coming up October 30th. The Patriots, do they have some work to do? They certainly have some people that they could add. They certainly have some depth that they could add to the team. So the first question here, Patriots trade deadline. Marv, what do you think the Patriots should do, if anything, at the trade deadline before October 30th?
Before October 30th, you have to look into this cornerback defense, just a defensive back position in period. You know, you've had your struggles there having a cornerback two position. You don't know who's gonna be lining up with Stephon Gilmore week by week. It could be McCourty, it could be Jonathan Jones. JC Jackson got a chance last week. It's been an audition for the second position for the cornerback. Eric Rowe hasn't been great in that position. So every week, Belichick is throwing someone out there. It'd be nice to have a solidified spot for your second cornerback because, you know, quarterbacks are targeting that spot. They're leaving Stephon Gilmore alone because he's been playing well. He's been playing great, but that cornerback decision hasn't been great. And then also the safety position hasn't been awesome either. Devin McCourty has been getting killed. This tight ends are having a field day because now you're using Chung more in, you know, a linebacker blitz packages, which he's doing very well at and helping stop the run. So it's leaving McCourty out there to cover the tight ends, and it's been a killer so far. So any type of defensive back help would be huge.
Mike, what do you think the Patriots got to do?
You know, I agree with everything Marv just said right there. There was one area that I was definitely looking at the Patriots maybe making a trade for, and that was at the running back position when Sony Michel's injury first happened. And, you know, the reports didn't really come out as to what he was dealing with and with the severity of the injury. But now the reports are saying that, you know, he has no structural damage. He's on probably a week basis. Yeah, a lot of you could brush the sweat off your forehead a couple of times with that one because, you know, it's looking like Sony Michel could be back in a couple of weeks.
It looks like his knee almost fell off on the field.
It didn't look good at all, man. And I think, you know, from first glance, it just looked like, okay, the Patriots probably lost this guy for the rest of the season. But again, reports are coming out that no structural damage. He's on a week-to-week basis, so he should be back. So immediately when that happened, I said, all right, who's available? Can they pick up a guy from free agency? Can they make a trade? But now that it's shaking out that, again, Sony Michel should be back, you know, I think the Patriots will be able to work with what they have in the meantime and move forward at the running back position. But, you know, I agree with Marv. A cornerback would be great. But other than that, I feel like, yeah, the safety position has hurt. You know, McCourty's been rough out there, but I think I still have trust and faith that he can be solid down the stretch. You know, maybe the bye week when that comes around, it'll be a time for a lot of guys. Who knows if McCourty's dealing with the injury and whatnot and just powering through it. So I feel like if he could just take the time to, you know, get through the bye week, hopefully he can power through it and be great down the stretch after the bye week. But, you know, I think for the most part, yes, if you could bring another cornerback in, that'd be great. But I think the Patriots are smooth for the most part at when it comes to the trade deadline.
Yeah, but Mike, you mentioned the running back position, which I'm with you there. That they're going to have to add some depth, and you've kind of backtracked this, and Sony Michel's reports came back, you know, relatively positive, as much as positive as they could be. But I still don't feel good about the Patriots running back position, which is crazy to say because, you know, over the summer when training camp starts up, you're looking at this running back depth, and you're like, how many running backs could you have on a damn roster? You had, at the time, you had Mike Gillislee, you had Rex Burkhead, you had Sony Michel, you had James White, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. They had
Jeremy Hill.
Jeremy Hill. Yep. Jeremy Hill. I forgot this guy was on the team. Jeremy Hill was playing football for the Patriots.
He didn't make it through the first quarter, man.
Yeah, didn't make it through. He's the Gordon Hayward of the Patriots, basically.
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
Same exact situation, to be honest.
So you've lost Jeremy Hill. Mike Gillislee is a free agent now. He already got cut from the Saints. Rex Burkhead on IR. I don't know if he's coming back. I've had people tell me he's coming back. I've had people tell me he's gone for the season. Who knows what's going on there? but I still don't feel comfortable with Sony Michel.
Well,
I mean, the guy's knee injury is what's left over from college. It's the same knee injury.
Yeah, I mean, again, it remains to be seen how long he'll take to recover dealing with this current injury. You know, again, it seems like they said he's on a week-to-week basis. Who knows how many weeks that's looking like? So, hey, you got a guy out there, Mike Gillislee, who just got released from the Saints, who's familiar with the offense. Bring him in and have him hopefully hold down the fort. I think, yes, James White is not a guy who can – I think they said this past game against the Bears, he had 15 carries, which was a career high from
– It was ridiculous.
15 carries, a career high for him. So, obviously, he's not a guy who you want to take the majority of the carries. But if you could just have a guy who could fill in and do a couple of things here and there, and the Patriots just rely on James White to do everything he's continued to do throughout the course of the season, I think they can manage. And fingers crossed, knock on wood, that, Sony Michel's injury is something, short term, and he can be back maybe a couple weeks later and continue to have the success that him and James White have been having so far this season. Hopefully.
I think we can all agree, whether Sony Michel comes next week or it takes a month for him to come back, you got to bring in another running back.
Gillespie's the guy, man. Gillespie's the guy. I think
Barner's not going to get it done.
Yeah.
No, you know who's the guy? You know who's the guy?
Ooh.
You go after a team like Detroit, who's got to trade people because they're not going anywhere this year. And you bring back LeGarrette Blount. So LeGarrette Blount can win his third Super Bowl in a row.
Marv is done with LeGarrette Blount. We had this conversation on the
I'm not done with LeGarrette Blount.
And Marv has had enough of Blount. Again, whoever you bring in, they don't need to be a guy who's getting 20, 15, 20-plus carries.
They just carry the ball. That's all you got to do.
Somebody to just move the chains for a little bit. I think Blount sucks. I think his time is coming on. But again, somebody else there, because what's that name? Barnum? What's the name?
Barner.
Oh, I forgot Barner exists. Yeah.
Barner's not gonna. Barner's he's not it. He's not the guy. So I agree with you guys.
He looked pretty decent against the Bears. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, but Patriots has something going there running back with Sony Michel and James White. You need somebody there who can at least, come close to that same kind of production that you was getting from Sony Michel and James White.
I'm all on the LeGarrette Blount train. And another guy, and we got to move on, but the other guy that I've also kind of been pretty – I wouldn't mind seeing him show up here just because he seems like the perfect Patriots project, Amir Abdullah. That guy has just not been successful. He has not lived up to expectation.
Oh, he's taken a backseat. I'm talking not even the backseat. He's riding in the trunk for the Detroit Lions.
He's attached to the bumper on the outside of the car.
It's all about Kerryon Johnson right now and LeGarrette Blount.
That's what I mean.
Is a lost cause over there. So
like that, Nick, I like that way better than the LeGarrette Blount thing you was.
Dude, I'm down for either of them. I mean, like hell, the guy he's the perfect Patriots project. He's not lived up to expectation,
right?
At all. I mean, he ruins fantasy football teams, or at least did the past 2 years. The guy, including my fantasy football team, I relied on that guy way too much. He's the perfect Patriots project. He's Deion Lewis 2.0. I don't think he runs the exact same way, but Deion Lewis 2.0.
You wouldn't be asking too much from him. So
exactly.
Sure.